Okay, so having said that, just real quick, just want to let you know our next meeting. Okay, we do not have one scheduled for the month of November due to the holiday season, and our next meeting is actually scheduled for December 30th. Okay, and that is for pre-accident investigations in the job site, taking a look at the 5 W's, who, when, why, where, what scenarios. That if something bad was to happen, those are the things that OSHA is going to ask. And then in January, we have the OSHA update. Okay, so those are the 2 next upcoming meetings that we have as far as the safety forum. Pre-accident investigations, December 30th. And then OSHA updates, where OSHA kind of takes a look at the previous year, does an evaluation, and gives us kind of what's in their crystal ball for 2021. We'll get that at the beginning of the year, so we all have at least a compass for 21 as far as what OSHA is going for. I'm sure that conversation will be very COVID related. I know that right now they're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to COVID, so we can definitely get into that conversation. We do still run every 2 weeks a COVID update here at IEC Rocky Mountain. Our next one is scheduled for next week. Same time, same channel. Okay, it's just labeled different as a COVID forum update versus the safety forum. So if you're interested in participating in those meetings to get the up-to-date status as far as how Colorado's dealing with everything up to date, those are great forum meetings so that everybody's informed on what's going down here in Colorado. So don't forget about that. That's next Wednesday, like I said, same time, 7:30 in the morning, same Zoom link. It just has a different title. And now that we've made those announcements, I would like to introduce you all to our awesome subject matter expert, Lisa. She is with Federated Insurance, and she's got some great information on, the topics that we've already kind of discussed, winter preparedness and driver safety. There's a lot of things, a lot of check boxes that should be put into place. And so she's going to help us navigate what those are and share some resources with us and get us what we need. Lisa, if you want to go ahead and take over here. Oh, you're on mute. You got to unmute. You can mute the space bar or just unmute yourself. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Is this good?
You're good now. Yes, thank you.
Good. Everyone can hear me and see me? Yes, okay.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you. I'm Lisa Didion. I'm a risk consultant with Federated Insurance. And currently I am in Lubbock, Texas. I live in Lubbock, Texas, home of Texas Tech Red Raiders. But in 2 weeks, I will be moving to Denver, down in Capitol Hill. So I'm very excited for that new adventure and to be a Coloradoan. I don't know if that's how you say it, but I'm very excited to experience the beauty and to be a part of such a great state that is all of that Colorado has to offer. And today we are going to be talking about our Drive Safe program. And our Drive Safe program stands for Speed, Attention, Fatigue, and Emotion, SAFE. And the video that I will be showing is very, very special to me because this is one of our insureds. This is actually a contractor that is insured by Federated that is speaking in this video and has given up his time to help us record this video and to show other people that it's not just something you see on the news. This is reality, and that it happens in everyday life. And you know that 2,440,000 people are injured on the roadways each year, and 36,000 people die each year from accidents that can be prevented by simply getting off of our phones, making sure that we have enough sleep, that we aren't fatigued when we drive, making sure that our emotions are in check. There's small things that we can do as just individuals that can prevent people from dying when we get in the vehicle. A lot of people don't realize that you're in a 2-ton or plus killing machine that can actually take a life. And we become so comfortable with muscle movement, with muscle relaxation when we're driving that we don't realize the power that we have behind the vehicle. So it's very important to let people know when you get in a vehicle that you do need to make sure that you are paying complete attention to the road and what is happening around you. And these statistics that I shared with y'all, these aren't just statistics. These are lives. These are family members, brothers, sisters, mothers, grandmothers that are dying and being injured. And the emotional toll and pain that comes from a motor vehicle crash can be devastating and preventable. Distracted driving, it's an epidemic because of the fact that people are on their cell phones and they are distracted by podcasts, music, changing the station, texting, Snapchatting, Facebooking. And other causes are fatigue, emotion, and speed. So let's take a look at this video that Federated provides. And just keep in mind that this could be your employee that is speaking here. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. Here. You can see that. Does that look good? Everyone can see it? All right, I'm going to play the video. If there's any issues, just let me know. Paul, or maybe it was, make sure this is.
Lisa, on your share screen bar,
Yes.
when you click on that, over to the right, there's a drop down on it, and it will give you the option to share the audio.
Okay, shared screen. Drop down. Okay, share audio.
Should be on the green bar at the top of your share screen.
Up here. I'm not seeing any drop down menu. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Is it over here?
It should have a stop. It has an extra button. I'm not seeing it on your screen though. Paul, can you grant that access to her?
Paul, you're muted.
One of those Zoom call like funny reels. I have the video. You should have a button that says whether in your audio settings, you should have a menu that says share computer audio. It might be in your audio options somewhere on your share screen. If not, I can pull up that video real fast, Lisa, and I can go ahead and get it started while maybe you were doing some work on the backdrop here.
And I can play it and see if you can hear it. Let's see if.
No. I can't hear it. So let me do this.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me pull this up here real quick, Lisa. And maybe I can get it shared.
Right.
One moment, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. Let me jump on and I can go ahead, Lisa, and jump a screen share, and then we can figure the audio out here in a moment. Okay, that way we can get the video going. I'm stopping your screen share and I'm going to jump into mine.
Okay.
Can you all see it?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it. Paul, we're not hearing your audio either.
One moment. What's going on?
There it is.
Restart it so everyone can hear it.
Speeding was not an issue that day. Not wearing a seatbelt was not an issue that day. It was a sole responsibility of myself. Being on the phone. Never saw the gal that was on the bike. It's the guilt and you carry it on your shoulders the rest of your life. That's the toughest part. That's probably affected me more than anything.
Every day, millions of drivers take to the road, and the one statistic that they all have in common is that they never intended to be a statistic. Over 100 people are killed and over 6,300 are injured in vehicle crashes every day. So before you drive, think safe. In this video, you are going to hear real-life stories of crashes caused by excessive speed, inattentive, distracted driving, drowsy and fatigued driving, and unchecked emotions that led to disaster. The stories will be told from a first responder's perspective as they recount how one person's poor choices led to a lifelong tragedy for many. Taking a little time, preparing to drive safely, could keep you from being today's and tomorrow's car crash statistic. Please make it home safe today.
It was dark and the roadways were clear, and this driver, he went through a red light at an unsafe speed. Somebody that was struck traveling southbound went into the center median and rolled, but the driver that went through the red light rotated around and struck the light pole, and that's what caused part of the significant damage to the vehicle. He was dead at the scene. He was crushed inside the semi. Anytime you do a death notification, it's going to impact that family, it's going to impact the community, friends, and so it's very difficult to do because you know the reaction that you're going to get when you do a notification like that.
Before getting behind the wheel, consider the cost if you choose to speed. Is it worth a speeding ticket? Is it worth losing your job? Is it worth killing for? Is it worth dying for? In a recent study, nearly 1/3 of all traffic fatalities occurred in speeding-related crashes.
It was the middle of the day in September. Weather was nice. The commercial driver had his cruise control set at a normal speed. He leaned over to grab something or was distracted by something, and as he leaned to his right, his tractor went to the left. The motorcyclist was pinned between the guardrail and the trailer, and as it went through the guardrail, the motorcyclist went under the trailer. As he was underneath the trailer, he tumbled. In fact, at one point, his motorcycle itself exploded. He was charged with second-degree vehicular homicide because the collision that he was involved in, as a result of him being distracted, resulted in the death of a third party.
On average, sending a text takes your eyes off the road for 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving the length of a football field blindfolded. The truth is, the human brain can't fully focus on two tasks at the same time. Instead, it switches focus constantly between the tasks, but never fully focuses on one.
The driver was fatigued and was following taillights. Highway speeds, 70 miles an hour, and semi happened to be parked on the side of the road, and he ran right into the back of it. He basically had 2 broken legs, the femurs, the main bones. He had some chest injuries, some broken ribs. He had injury to his arm and an injury to his head. It was just tragic.
Moderate levels of fatigue produce levels of impairment comparable to alcohol intoxication. Research has shown that being away for 20 hours produces impairments that are potentially worse than having a blood alcohol concentration of 0.10%.
These two gentlemen got in an argument. One was chasing the other down the road. As they came around this right-hand turn, the first car got through. The second car didn't, and when he went around that turn, he lost control, striking a telephone pole. When we got there, the car was absolutely destroyed. When we eventually got access to him, it was obvious that he had deceased. And it all came back to an argument that had started 30 minutes prior, and he paid the ultimate price.
Emotions can get in the way of a safe trip, and anyone can have road rage. A recent study by the American Automobile Association found that aggressive driving played a role in 56% of fatal crashes. From time to time, everyone feels anxious, angry, or rushed. But don't let that override common sense. Don't let emotions cloud split-second driving decisions. Is getting where you're going so important that you are willing to risk your life or the lives of others? Accidents happen, but crashes can be preventable. When you are behind the wheel, ask yourself, am I driving a safe speed for the conditions? Am I paying attention to the road? Am I rested enough to safely drive? Am I in control of my emotions? Our risky actions behind the wheel may result in the possibility of going to jail or even prison. Our final story is from someone who ultimately had to deal with the drastic consequences caused by these actions.
I'm here to talk to you guys about distracted driving, also choices. I want to be up here in front of you guys and be the example of what not to do and who not to be. That's my whole goal. I want you guys to take away from what I did and not do it yourselves. Speeding was not an issue that day. Not wearing a seatbelt was not an issue that day. It was a sole responsibility of myself. Being on the phone. I was working for an electrical contractor, got done with one job. I was heading to the next site, and probably been down that road at least 100 times. I decided to pick up my cell phone that day, like I'd done many times before that. I don't know if I looked down on my phone for a second, if it wasn't working right, or what I was doing. You know, I had no recollection of that, and I heard a thud on the vehicle. And right away, I looked up in the rearview mirror, and I saw a bicycle. Right away, I knew it couldn't be good. Never saw the gal that was on the bike. Right away, I just pulled over as fast as I could and started running back towards where the bicycle was at, and that's where I saw the gal laying in the ditch. I remember at one point in time looking up, seeing another gal that came upon the scene of the accident, pulling two small children out of a bicycle carrier, and my heart dropped right away. Days in jail, 3 years of probation, and 300 hours of community service. That's the minor thing. It's the guilt and the knowing that you took someone's life and carry it on your shoulders the rest of your life. That's the toughest part. That's probably affected me more than anything.
Thank you, Paul, for sharing that video. Very impacting. Very impacting.
For sure, really impacting.
Especially because it hits home with it being an electrical contractor.
Yeah,
And
when you
him
said
being,
that, I was like, oh, wow, it's too bad,
it truly is. With him being in a company vehicle, and that vehicle having the electrical contractor's name on the side of it, when those pictures are taken and they are posted to websites, they're posted to Facebook, they're posted to the newspaper, that company's name is all over. And their reputation is known as, oh, that's the company who had the employee that killed the mom, the one that was texting and driving.
Yeah, the name
And
on
that
the
right there,
thing, right?
exactly. That one mistake that man made can ruin a company's reputation. So that's why it is so important for each and every one of you to have a driving policy in place and to conduct safety meetings that include driving, making sure that you are reiterating to your employees, do not be on your phones. It's not worth it. Like he said, he went down that road 100 times. He had the muscle memory. He felt comfortable. He got complacent. And that is when it happens, when you are complacent and comfortable. And picking up our phones is just such a natural habit to do. I know if I leave my phone at home, I feel like I'm missing something. I'm reaching for it. It's part of our culture. So making sure that you are telling your employees, telling your coworkers, telling your family, it's not worth it. So leave your phone down, please. I want you to make it home safe. It's a habitual habit that we need to make sure that we are doing every time we get in the car to turn off our phone.
We're all guilty of it. We are all
We are.
guilty. I know that I am. And as a parent, for example, my daughter's just now driving. A little bit away from the work-related stuff, but I worry about that so much because I know as maybe distracted as I may be on the road, like what are these kids doing, who can't peel themselves away from their phones and things like that in a work environment. I'm sure all of you contractors would agree. Like we're tied, excuse me, we're tied into our emails pretty heavy and texting and making sure that we're on point with what our goal is for the day. And so, yeah, it can be a super, super dangerous thing to get into.
It truly can be.
Paul and Lisa,
Very, very.
this is Marilyn. Can I add something to the
Of
program?
course. Yes.
This safe driving program is something that Federated has made available, and I've actually taught it twice, I think twice, maybe 3 times for the annual apprentice meeting that we have. We do a safety makeup class, sort of a small seminar with our apprentices every year, and it's always really powerful when we show. And there's actually, Lisa will share these resources, I'm sure, but this is the overview of SAFE. There are 4 different videos that go a little bit deeper into each of the 4 elements that are part of the SAFE program. But the thing that sticks in my mind and that I hold on to when I'm driving is the length of the football field statistic of how long it actually takes you to, when you're looking down away from your phone, and you might think it's just a couple of seconds, but you've actually traveled the length of a football field. That is imagery that really, really sticks with me, that I try to hold on to when I'm tempted to pick up my phone somewhere.
Yes. Yes. That visual really does bring it home when you're driving down a highway. And those 5 seconds that you pick up your phone, how long you can go. That's for sure. Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate that you're sharing it with others. This message is so important. Now more than ever. Now more than ever, especially with the weather and with COVID. Yes, there is less cars on the road because people are staying at home. But with this pandemic that we're in, emotions are high. People are dealing with a lot of stress at home, and that is brought into driving with their emotions. So there has been an increase, actually a 14% increase in accidents with COVID because of the fact that people are more stressed out at home. Their emotions are high. They're depressed. Their minds aren't on the road. So when we
You'd be
put that,
surprised less traffic, which means you're not paying you're not paying attention more, and you're driving faster.
Exactly. Exactly, Paul. Yes. And with that, with the pandemic, on top of pandemic, weather, we also have a time change coming up this Sunday. And with the time change, that means that people's sleep schedules are going to be switched around. People aren't going to be used to waking up at a certain time, so their body, their rhythm of their sleep patterns is going to be put off, which means that there's going to be a cause in more accidents and more people not paying attention on the road and being fatigued. So that's another point that you should definitely point out to everyone in your employees and your family. And your daughter, Paul, make sure that she realizes that we have 3 whammies against us. We have the pandemic, we have time change, and we also have weather conditions. And that leads me into the weather condition, driving into snow, rain, fog. We need to make sure that we are taking the proper precautions and getting our vehicles ready, preparing them for the snow. And with that, let me show you this video. Paul, would you like to play it?
The Allstate video or the YouTube video?
Let's start off with the Allstate and then we will go into the YouTube. This Allstate video is going to just give a small synopsis of what we should do to prep our vehicles for the winter weather.
Winter season, but that doesn't mean your car has to be in a deep freeze. Consider these tips to help prepare your vehicle for cold weather. Extreme temperature changes may affect your car, so it's important to make sure it's in working order. Car has to be in a deep freeze. Consider these tips to help prepare your vehicle for cold weather. Extreme temperature changes may affect your car, so it's important to make sure it's in working order before winter arrives. You may want to switch to a winter-grade oil to keep your engine running properly in lower temperatures. Check the owner's manual to be sure you're choosing the appropriate oil for your vehicle. Seasonal changes are a good time to make sure your car's cooling system is in working order. Ensure the battery is charged, and check the hoses to be sure the rubber is in good shape. As the temperature falls, so does the air pressure in your tires. Low tire pressure can adversely affect your car's handling, so it's important to keep your tires properly inflated. Check tire tread as well, and replace tires that are wearing down or uneven. If you're in an area with particularly severe winter weather, you may want to consider a set of snow tires. Keep your windshield washer reservoir full, so you can keep your windshield clear, even on snowy days. You may need de-icer or concentrate if you live in a particularly cold area. Also check your windshield wipers. Replace worn or dried out wiper blades to help maintain visibility, especially if a snowstorm is headed your way. Ensure your car's headlights are working in preparation for fewer daylight hours. Clean the lenses of your exterior lights and replace any burnt out bulbs. If you have questions or are not comfortable tackling this yourself, talk to your mechanic. You may also be able to help prevent your car doors from freezing by using some cooking spray on the rubber edges or gaskets. While you should already have an emergency kit in your car, consider adding items that can be helpful in cold or snowy weather. You may want to include items like a shovel, gloves, boots, an ice scraper, and sand or kitty litter for traction on slippery roads. Winter weather presents some different driving hazards, and the cold may also affect your vehicle. With some preparation and preventive maintenance, though, you and your vehicle can be ready to handle the colder months.
Thank you, Paul. The next one is 8 driving tips in extreme weather, and this is a YouTube video. But we're preparing our vehicles.
So this could save your life. 8 tips to drive safe in bad weather. You know, a car isn't just a way to go from A to B. It's a serious responsibility and a potentially dangerous machine for you and others, especially if you have to drive in bad weather. Luckily, there are special driving tips to avoid accidents when it's pouring rain, the road is covered in ice, or you're driving in thick fog. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on the bright side. So here we go. Tip number 1. Driving in fog. Do not drive at your usual speed. Slow down so that you have time to react to different hazards that may appear on the road. If visibility is extremely limited, park in a safe place and wait for the fog to clear. If you're driving in really thick fog, turn off the radio and keep your windows rolled down. This way, you'll be able to hear what's happening around you to partially make up for your limited visibility. Don't drive with your brights on. Fog consists of tiny water droplets that reflect light, making your visibility even worse. Be sure to drive with your low beams on so that you can see the road and other drivers can see you. When the fog is really thick, drivers usually move closer to the center of the road. Beware of this natural tendency and make sure to stay in your lane. Let the outer shoulder be your guide. This way, you won't run into oncoming traffic or get blinded by the headlights there. Number 2, driving on black ice. Now, black ice is tricky given that in most cases, you can't spot it until it's too late. When driving at night, your headlights can serve as a useful warning that there's ice ahead since they'll reflect off the road. If you absolutely have to drive when the roads are covered in black ice, be extremely careful near bridges. They're more likely to be icy than the rest of the road. And even if they've been salted to prevent cars from skidding, this road salt tends to slide down from bridge slopes pretty fast. Braking is one of the worst things you can do on black ice. When you're nearing a patch of icy road, let go of the brake even before your tires make contact with it. If you're going at a pretty high speed, it's better to pump the brakes rather than slam them. Otherwise, your car may start skidding uncontrollably. Speaking of which, number 3, what to do if your car starts skidding. First of all, take your foot off the accelerator. In most cases, if your car starts to skid, this means you're driving too fast. Again, don't slam on the brakes. This will shift the weight of the car and only cause you to lose control over your vehicle. A lot of people who drive a stick shift have been taught that along with letting off the gas, you should also change the gear to neutral. Professionals, however, recommend against this. In order to shift into neutral, you need to take your hand off the wheel, which puts you at risk of losing even that tiny bit of control over your car that you had before. Look in the direction where you want to go, not at the thing you're trying to hit. You see, in a panicked state of losing control over your car and focusing on all the stuff you're trying to avoid crashing into, you'll actually subconsciously steer towards that object. Basically, if you don't want to skid into a tree, don't look at it. Number 4, driving in heavy rain. Don't drive with your rear fog lights on in heavy rain. The driver behind you might mistake them for brake lights, and they'll be tempted to slam theirs. On wet roads, that's a dangerous mistake for everybody around. Turn on your headlights as soon as it starts to rain. This will help other drivers spot your car faster. And, of course, you'll be able to see the road better in poor visibility.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Killen. I have my own medical practice, and I've been using Doodly now for a few weeks to create.
Don't use cruise control. When you control the speed of the car yourself, you naturally accelerate and slow down to maintain the speed limit. Doing this shifts the weight of your car, giving it better traction, even on a slippery, wet road. Cruise control takes away this weight shifting, meaning less traction and a higher risk of skidding. Now, even if you're not driving really fast in the rain, there's always the risk of hydroplaning. This is basically when sitting water acts as a lubricant between your wheel and the road, pretty much lifting your tires off the surface. In this case, do not turn the steering wheel. Immediately take your foot off the accelerator, then slowly and steadily press on the brakes. If you notice deep water ahead, just turn around. Driving through a large pool is too risky. You might damage the electronics of your car, get stuck, or even get swept away if the water's moving. Number 5, driving in the rain at night. Well, let's just pile on, shall we? Raindrops on your windshield act as a lens that refract light. As a result, they can temporarily blind you, especially if it's pouring rain and your whole windshield is covered in water. Try to adjust your headlights so that the light doesn't shine up. You might try a hydrophobic washer fluid. It keeps raindrops from sticking to your windshield. And, of course, make sure your wipers are in good condition. Replace them once a year to keep them in tip-top shape. If visibility is just too bad and you feel uncomfortable driving in torrential rain, pull over and wait it out if you can. Number 6, driving in the snow. Reduce your speed dramatically and turn on your lights if a snowstorm has caught you off guard. Try to stay at least 3 car lengths away from the driver ahead of you. The same goes for rainy conditions. If the visibility is extremely low, slow down and turn on your hazard lights. Avoid using your brights since they can reflect light and blind you. If you can, pull over to the shoulder and wait until the weather conditions improve. If you're on the highway, look for an exit. Whatever happens, stay in your car. It's dangerous to leave it in heavy snow or even rain. Number 7, what to do if your car went into a snowdrift. If you've accidentally driven over a snow mound on the side of the road, do not turn the steering wheel in the opposite direction. Keep the same direction as before, and while steadily accelerating, get back on the road. If you're stuck in a snowdrift and you're in a stick shift, put the car in the lowest gear. This way, your tires will spin more slowly, and you'll avoid the risk of digging yourself deeper in the snow. You can also try rocking your car. If you manage to back it up a bit, then go forward. Keep doing this rocking motion. If you're lucky, you'll be progressing forward more and more until you get back on the road. However, if this method doesn't get you out of the snow after 5 minutes of trying, stop. Otherwise, you may harm your transmission. Number 8, driving in a dust storm. As soon as a dust storm hits, pull over and entirely off the road. Also, make sure all your head and taillights are off. If you don't turn off the lights, other drivers may believe that's where the road leads. They'll follow you and crash into your car. Do not resume driving until it's safe to continue your trip. If you can't get off the road, decrease your speed to the bare minimum. Follow the white lines on the shoulder to make sure your car is pointing in the right direction. Stay calm. Most dust storms pass within a few minutes. So, do you know any other safe driving tips for extreme weather conditions? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.
Thank you, Paul. When extreme weather strikes, when we are in these weather conditions, we are most vulnerable in our vehicles, on the roads, being passed by 80-mile-per-hour other vehicles. And it's very, very important to make sure that we do the pre-check inspection for our vehicles on all of the vehicles, making sure that everything is ready to be equipped to handle the weather conditions. According to the Federal Highway Administration, car accidents and incidents account for more than 7,000 Americans dying on average each year due to weather-related conditions and weather-related wrecks. That's 7,000 people that are going to die due to the weather that can be prevented if we just leave more space in between our vehicles, if we slow down our speed, we take away distractions, we have a plan, we are aware of our surroundings. These small steps that we can take can save lives and can prevent accidents and financial loss. So just making sure that each of your employees has a plan before they go out. They know their destination. They don't have to plug it in their GPS when they're on their way to the area. Making sure that they are ready to go, equipped with what they need in an emergency situation, and are aware of the weather conditions when they return. So making sure that they have an app on their phone or in tune with the weather on the news stations, making sure that you are communicating with them clearly that this is going to be the conditions that you are going to experience and encounter on your road today to your job site. So just making sure that your employees are aware and being an open line of communication with what they will experience. With that, I will attach all of the resources and the videos for you all to have. Just making sure, I want to make sure to reiterate that your employees know and understand that you take seriously driving. Driving is very serious to you, and their safety is serious to you. And making sure that they get home safe to their families every night is a top priority for you. So that if the weather conditions are too bad, you want to make sure that they are aware of it and that you are keeping them safe. And I appreciate all of your time today. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
I went ahead and added the links into the chat section here, Lisa. So we have the chats, or we have the links. Unless there was any other link you wanted to share with us, we do have the 3 video links. And
Yes.
what we'll do is we will compile just kind of our conversation and the overview of today's topic, and we'll send it out to each of our contractor members and industry people. So it'll go out pretty vastly. So, but we have those links unless there was anything you wanted to add.
That was it. That was it.
Awesome.
Just
Any questions from you all? Any feedback on those videos or anything that you wanted to bring up in discussion about any of this stuff? One thing that, they say that the most dangerous time to drive in the rain, right, is within the first 10 minutes of the rainfall. That's when really all the petroleum and oils and stuff like that start coming up, in the first couple minutes. And so that makes the road a little bit more slick when it comes to the rain. So just keep that in mind. Anybody want to bring any other issues up? Leland, Joe, everybody good?
Yeah, I think we're
DJ?
good. There's I think probably as contractors, especially with the vehicle fleet out there in Colorado on the roads, working at multiple projects, knowing when to call it is probably super important. When we need to pull everybody off, we track the weather. If there's going to be something coming, luckily we're tracking the weather, and I think a lot of people are. And just knowing when to, we know, like when that cyclone bomb came, we're like, everybody just stay home. Like there's no reason for anybody to be out on the road. Myself and a few other managers actually did come into the office that morning and then drove through the cyclone bomb to get home. Some of us were in traffic for like 3-4 hours. And that was one of those where we want to make sure everybody had full fuel tanks. You don't know how long you're going to be idling. You don't know how long you're going to be on the interstate or side roads. Having, even water or additional layers if you need to in your work van. Most of our work vans are rear-wheel drive. Actually, the majority, I think, if not all of them, are rear-wheel drive Ford, Chevys, Express 1500s, etc. So they're not the most ideal for the snow, but with the amount of weight of material and wire in them, they do decent. Our employees, and I think most of our employees and most of the employees, electricians in Colorado, they're used to it. They know when it's safe, when it's not safe. So they'll let us know if they don't think they can make it out of the neighborhood, probably don't go to the job site that day. So using common sense and putting safety out there first.
Yeah, we get those questions like from our students, right? Because we run night classes, and we get those questions from students when snow becomes, more robust, and they, it's always like, well, do I have to come into class tonight? We always tell them, hey, you use your best judgment. We'll call it when we start to see that the best judgment, is no one show up. You know what I mean? We always encourage them. The good thing now, though, is our hand has been forced to technology, so we can do remote teaching now. But I know that was always a topic where it's, when do we call it, too, because, Colorado, it might be blizzarding out right now, but in 3 hours, it'll be gone. and so that's kind of a weird thing that we deal with. Sometimes we'll start getting a snowfall at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll last until 3, and then by 6, it's, you know what I mean? So we just try and tell people, regardless of what the normal is in a work day, at the end of it all, you need to be able to go home. And so use your best judgment when it comes to that stuff. Any other comments or questions or anything like that? Everyone's so quiet this morning. Hopefully you have a fantastic Wednesday then. Lisa, I can't thank you enough for jumping in and having this conversation with the group today. We really appreciate it and can't wait to meet you when you get here into Colorado. It's a great place to live and you're really going to enjoy it here. And having said that, unless there's anything else, our next meeting is scheduled for December 30th. Okay, on, like I said, it's pre-accident investigations. All right, so we won't see you in the month of November. So I hope that you'll have a great holiday and just be super safe out there. And let us know over here at Rocky Mountain what you all need from us, okay? And we'll try and make something happen for you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm honored to be here with you guys, and I appreciate all that each of you do to help protect your employees and to keep people safe. You're saving lives every day, and I appreciate you. And I'm excited to be a Coloradoan.
And if you're seeing here too, I just wanted to make a real quick correction. Okay, I had mistaken when I said the next COVID forum would be next week. It's actually scheduled for the 18th of November. So I had misspoken about that. So I apologize about that. Within these video links as well, there is a message from the CEO of Federated, giving some of the things that Lisa had talked about, and it's a good one. It's a good one to look at, and it's sincere kind of outreach to to our contractors and our people behind the wheel. So it's another great video to link. We're going to send this all out to y'all in an outline structure, okay? And if you need anything additional, just reach out to us, okay, everybody?
Thanks, Paul.
You betcha.
See you Friday.
Can you stick on?
Good stuff, Paul. Thank you.